Welcome back to the O Show. We're going to talk about a pretty massive BlackRock bombshell. I call it more of a scandal. Well, it's actually really not even a scandal at all because we all saw this coming. This is something we talked about on the O Show. This is something we've been speaking about with traditional finance coming in and that grifting. This is why we've talked about grifting as ethically and legally as possible within the constraints of the law, just like the big boys. Larry Fink for the longest time did not like Bitcoin, did not like crypto, wanted absolutely nothing to do with it. But he was wrong. He recognized that he was wrong and he hopped on that grift. That's why they have the Bitcoin spot ETF. The fact that Bitcoin is a finite asset and more cannot be duplicated or made or created or whatever that may be is very, very enticing. The reason why it's enticing is because when we look at something like gold, which reminder, gold hit a brand new all-time high again recently, again, I believe. And when you have something that is a finite asset and there's a lot of demand for it, we're seeing United States have demand for it, China, Dubai, El Salvador, strategy, whatnot, but there's only 21 million of this thing. When you have massive demand, number goes up. In addition, traditional finance is able to take debt out on Bitcoin, and they're able to do it in a way that retail is not, which is why I advocate so heavily for retail to have equal access and for retail, the accredited investor law to be abolished because it's out of date. It makes no sense, and it essentially creates a wealth gap in America. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that. We'll talk about Ethereum. We're going to talk about Elon Musk wanting to end the Fed. We're going to talk about Dogecoin and a couple other things. But happy Monday. Shout out to our new channel partners over at HBAR Foundation. Shout out to them. Shout out to MarketCypher and of course Brave. I'm very, very excited to be streaming today and chatting with you guys. And is low is okay. Those of you who watch the channel know that my kid has been homesick. She's had a really, really severe allergic reaction starting Monday last week when she came home from school. We don't know what it is. We went to the doctor. We went to urgent care twice last week. We went to a doctor once. I was able to get her panel done for allergies. I had a fight with Kaiser. About it. Like the doctor we had was absolutely horrible. But anyways, I got it done. They gave a partial panel. They just did like allergies and stuff like that for like grass and outside. She came back fine. Her levels are fine. So I messaged them and I got those on Saturday. So I messaged them back. I'm like, hey, can you refer us to a allergist, a specialist? If not, I need someone to go to out of network. And now that I have her results, I can actually start researching and seeing what exactly is the issue is. So she's been fine. She's just like, we're talking about a 8-year-old who had hives from like head to toe, literally head to toe. Her poor little feet were so swollen and everything. We did oatmeal baths, Benadryl every 4 to 6 hours, hydrocortisone cream, ice packs, all of that stuff, all of that stuff. And they did prescribe her steroids. So she's been on the steroids, and to help with the swelling and that type of stuff. But it's been over the weekend, it's only just kind of been on her knees and her feeties. So we're getting better. We're getting better. And again, I'm monitoring her diet, writing down everything that she's taking, et cetera, or that she's eating, and making sure she drinks lots of water. So she is on the mend, but at the same time, I've kept her home today because last night yesterday she did get a couple breakouts on her feet and her knees. So I didn't want her I wasn't ready to send her back to school yet. Today I did try for the first time loratadine, which is generic Claritin. I didn't want to introduce that to her over the weekend because she didn't really need Benadryl too much. So I did it today in preparation to send her back to school tomorrow. So we will be monitoring that to see what goes on. So thank you guys so much for asking. She was in here dancing this morning and now she's reading for school, and we've been able to stay up to date on homework. But again, this channel was created for me, but also, because this is my job and this is what I do for work. And I'm so thankful and blessed that I get to be a stay-at-home mom and I get to accommodate my child when emergencies like this happen. So that's an update. I will keep you guys posted. Thank you so much. But let's go ahead and give a shout out to all the channel members. Shout out to everybody on YouTube. Good morning to gorgeous Alexandra. And thank you so much to everybody who's been asking. There's Eric. He's a BGR. So thank you so much to Eric for being here and everybody else. Shout out to the Rumble crowd for being here. Shout out to the TikTok crowd for being here and Twitch and everybody else. She's allergic to school. Yeah. I actually let her watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off this weekend. And she was like, she got bored, but then she was also like super amazed. Super amazed. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, TikTok is finally working. So shout out to all the TikTok babes. Thank you to Lily. to 82. I will do a fit check at the end. I actually do a fit check now. Shout out to Callie. I hope your babies are doing good. Are doing okay. Shout out to everyone else. Make sure to like and share this. I'll go ahead and do a fit check now. So let's do a fit check. So your actual name is Alexandra. Nice. Orthodox boomer grandma. Okay. So this is the fit. The fit is the Abercrombie jeans from the thrift store. And then this little getup from, I think it's from the thrift store Sheen. I don't have no idea. But that's what the fit is today, just for like content. And I'm going to get back in my sweats and stuff. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into the news, because that's why you guys are here. Also, we got the chicken bone broth. Health is wealth. This is the only thing I will shill you that tell you guys you do need to buy if you can, unless you have allergies. But lemon, ginger, turmeric tea, and chicken bone broth. All right. Oh, wrong thing. Let's get into it. So, talk about what's going on with Larry Fink first. So, this whole thing from Larry Fink, where is it? It's actually on my profile. Where is it? BlackRock CEO Larry Fink says the US dollar is at risk of losing its reserve status to Bitcoin. Now, there is an article here from BlackRock. You guys, it's blackrock.com, corporate literature presentation, Larry Fink. And it says over here, the democratization of investing, expanding prosperity in more places for more people, which is a bunch of BS, because you know that BlackRock primarily services TradFi and accredited investors. They don't care about retail. They don't. Of all the systems we've created, among the most powerful and uniquely suited to moments like ours began over 400 years ago, we call this system the capital markets. Capital markets, S&P, stock markets, it's all Ponzi. It's all a Ponzi. The reason why it's a Ponzi, in my personal opinion, shout out to BMO. The reason why it's a Ponzi, in my personal opinion, is the fact that only a select group of people are able to create products, sell it, raise money, and not really be held accountable if number goes down and whatnot, and other people lose money. That's absolutely insane to me. It's kind of crazy, right? Doesn't really make a lot of sense, but that's what works. And again, you're not allowed to participate in that market because you're poor and stupid. That's what these people think of you. I digress. Let's get back into it. No, that's what's going on with that. But basically, in his annual letter to shareholders, Fink warned that Bitcoin could threaten US dollar reserve currency status if deficits continue to grow. He acknowledges DeFi's benefits like speed and transparency, but sees risk in shifting trust from USD to Bitcoin. He predicts all assets will be tokenized, revolutionizing investing. And he said digital identity infrastructure needs improvement. So I want to go ahead and break down these topics for you because I think that they're incredibly important. So let's start with this. Bitcoin could threaten the US dollar reserve currency status if deficits continue to grow. Deficits in America will continue to grow regardless of the administration we are under. The amount of debt that was created, the amount of insanity the public servants have been able to get away with, and this goes to both blue and red, is absolutely absurd. The fact that our taxpayer dollars are being used for God knows what, God knows where, while we have homeless people, we've got folks that are mentally ill, we have unhealthy people, we have kids that are not getting the education they need, we don't have enough community centers, just really all these things is very, very problematic to me. So of course, a finite asset like Bitcoin that people could actually custody themselves 24/7, 365 is a threat to the US dollar, because not only can you use it as a hedge against geopolitical uncertainty, a hedge against inflation, a hedge against gold, a hedge against the US dollar, whatever that may be, you could also use it as currency. So it impacts their bottom line. So even though Larry Fink doesn't necessarily like crypto, doesn't like Bitcoin, he's going to talk about it, and he's also going to allow himself to make money off of it, because that's the bottom line. All these people care about is the bottom line. Now, the next piece of information over here. He acknowledges DeFi benefits like speed and transparency, but sees risk in shifting trust from USD to Bitcoin. Now, why would he do that? Why would he think that that's risky? Well, the difference between we're talking about getting a loan, like a DeFi loan on Bitcoin or whatnot, it's all transparent. And smart contracts on most chains are utilized to make sure that there's enough collateral, that certain terms are met, all of that. And it's completely transparent as opposed to traditional finance. You don't know what big boys are getting loans. You don't know who's doing what, who's giving special privileges, who's not following through on the promised contract because there's not smart contracts involved, because a lot of this is done paper, it's done behind closed doors. So what is the real risk of using DeFi as opposed to cash or the banks? The only real risk would be if you screw up, you forget your private keys, you forget a date to replenish whatever it is, the collateralized loan, to add more liquidity to it, et cetera, before liquidation, those types of things. But realistically, DeFi is fast. It's available 24/7, 365, and it works a little bit better than the current system that we have. Which, if you think about all the debt and the loans and all of that and how that works, I mean, it's a massive market. So, of course, BlackRock sees it as a threat. Of course, the traditional finance sees it as a threat, and that's why we had Operation Chocolate 2.0. He then predicts all assets will be tokenized, revolutionizing investing. Yeah, they have their BUIDL fund. We've been talking about that. They just integrated Solana. Polygon was one of the highest there. It's got Ethereum, all kinds of things. They want to tokenize assets. They want to tokenize investing. And that's another reason why you should be paying attention to Hedera, because they're literally they're helping to kind of tokenize everything made in the USA. And so I've been telling you guys to pay attention to projects that are made in the USA, focusing on tokenization, AI projects, just different stuff, different stuff, have diversification here. And why is this all important? Well, this is all important is because we're seeing this traditional financial market that has been essentially that's kind of archaic, that doesn't operate 24/7, 365, while we have this technology like cryptocurrency and DeFi. So basically what they're going to do, they're going to take stocks and bonds and all traditional financial products, and they're going to put them on the blockchain so people can have access 24/7, 365. But will it be as transparent as crypto? Probably not. So it's going to be interesting to see how that checks out. Next and last, he says digital identity infrastructure needs improvement. And we're going to get into stablecoins a little bit, and that's a CBDC. I do think that there are benefits. There's pros and cons to using a digital identity. We definitely need to do some sort of voter rehaul to verify people are actually residents, to verify people there's no voter fraud, that type of stuff. And as far as digital identity goes, I'm kind of on the fence about it because I just want to make sure that my information is private, but at the same time that things are being done correctly and properly. It gets a little complicated there. So how are they going to do that? But at the same time, when you're talking about a CBDC or social credit score or whatever that may be, however they figure it out, they can do some pretty nasty stuff with your money. And that's something you should be paying attention to. It's scary. It's actually terrifying. So that's just some food for thought, what's happening, what's going on with crypto. And again, there's quite a few stablecoin bills that are being pushed through. And I always thought it was interesting that they're pushing through the stablecoin bills first instead of laying out actual regulation regarding crypto, right? And some of you might be saying, well, Wendy, Trump promised we're not getting a CBDC. I don't care what Trump promised. There's always more people powerful. There's always somebody more powerful than you behind the scenes. Did I vote for Trump? Yeah. Am I criticizing him? Yeah, that's how I am. That's what I'll continue to do. Make sure y'all smash a like too. And drop me comments. I read the chats. Anyways, that's what's going on with Bitcoin. So what's going to happen in the future? Well, me personally, because we have all these people shilling Bitcoin like crazy, traditional financial entities, I'm going to continue to accumulate some. I might start dollar cost averaging again, primarily because of what the current state of the market doesn't look super great. I want to pay attention to what these guys are talking about, and that's primarily Bitcoin. That's what I'm telling you. Anytime these guys are invested in something, pay attention. I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm simply saying read, research, see if it makes sense for you. That's where you're going to make money. Can you make money with meme coins? Yes. But is there a lot of risk there? Yes. You're probably going to make a lot more money dollar cost averaging on Bitcoin or opening a Bitcoin IRA or 401k or whatever it is. And that's why we work with Dame. They're down below and they're traditional financial advisors in the United States. So I highly recommend chatting with them if you're someone's like, this is too much for me. Well, I've done actually really, really well. I made 6 figures. Well, I haven't realized it yet, but I got 6 figures with them and I had no idea how much it grew. Better than my 401k. My 401k is like $40,000 still from 2017. I worked at that company for 10 years. 10 years. Anyways, let's get back into it though. But again, pay attention to what they're doing. Good morning to Mr. Gamer. Shout out to Original Swavey for being new. Can't track cash at all. You're right, you can't. And that's why lots of people take cash for stuff. Now, this is Mr. Peter Schiff. He's just always yelling at Bitcoin. Shout out to Dan Held for this post of yelling at Bitcoin. But Schiff says the false narrative that Bitcoin is digital gold is being exposed. Growth is slowing, inflation is rising, and as stagnation fears spread, tariff uncertainty is adding to the pressure on financial markets. Gold hit record high as Bitcoin crashes. Bye-bye strategic Bitcoin reserve. So this is the thing. Peter is, he's entitled to his opinion. And the issue with Peter is he's a gold shill, which is fine. I don't care. Like, I respect the grift. Sorry, I'm getting tattoo removal, so I'm like all itchy. But with that being said is that I think it's, and Peter Schiff has Bitcoin because he takes Bitcoin for his gold classes or whatever the hell he sells. But the moral of the story here, you guys, is that I think it's okay to hedge with Bitcoin and gold. I don't see an issue with it. And right now, gold might be soaring because more and more people are accustomed to buying gold during geopolitical insanity, during economic collapse, during all the craziness that's happening. But at the same time, if BlackRock would not have the Bitcoin spot ETF, the current administration would not be shilling Bitcoin. The current administration would not be investing in Bitcoin products, which we're going to talk about soon. So I respect Peter. I appreciate his perspective, but I think he's wrong. It is what it is. I mean, at this point, we've got nothing to lose. So why not buy Bitcoin? Now we're going to listen to Mr. Saylor because he's absolutely insane. He is off his rocker. But again, it's about his bottom line too. And he's a he's TradFi, accredited investor, got this company that he could take out all the loans possible. So let's go ahead and listen to what Mr. Bitcoin Jesus has got to. No, that's Roger Ver. Also free Roger Ver. Let's go ahead and listen to this.
I can tell you that I think the price of Bitcoin will go to 13 million over 20 years.
I can tell you the price of Bitcoin will go to 13 million over 20 years. Well, hold up. I've got more.
Couldn't say that about a security, right? You have legal immunity to actually express your opinion about a commodity.
He's calling Bitcoin a commodity and saying that he could give his opinion about it because it's a commodity. It's not a security. The law is so effing bizarre. So I guess I could just tell you to buy Bitcoin and that's okay, right?
That makes commodities politically superior, legally superior, ethically superior, financially superior to...
No, it doesn't. It doesn't in any way, shape, or form. It's still an investment. And an investment is investment. It doesn't matter what it's classified as. It's an investment.
A non-commodity to a security. And it's not just a little bit better. It's 100 times better. Right? And so Bitcoin is a commodity. Bitcoin is actually the commodity. I studied commodities in my early professional years.
I don't care where you studied. College is great and all, but at the same time, come on. I don't even use anything from my degree at all.
Every other commodity can be created with technology, with capital, with know-how. If you were going to take your family's life savings and buy a commodity to hold for 100 years, and you thought about it, would you buy soybeans or corn or oil or natural gas or lumber, coal, silver? Well, no, they're all awful, and you know why they're awful, because it's pretty obvious to you that 100 years ago it was harder to make those things than it is today. And if the price of oil goes to $1,000 a barrel, we're going to frack it, triple frack it, hyper frack it, and we'll drive the price of oil down. Same with gold. There's been hyperinflation in gold.
What about the others, the corn and the food and the soybeans?
Multiple times. You know, the California 49ers found gold. We created so much gold that we crashed the economy of Europe. Every other commodity is going to actually explode in supply with technology and with price. That makes them all garbage investments for a long-term investor. They're in fact the worst possible investments as a long-term store of value. The king of them, gold, still underperforms the S&P index by a factor of 2 or more. So there's only one commodity in the history of the human race that wasn't a garbage investment. The one commodity is Bitcoin, right? A digital.
Okay, so this is the thing, you guys. This is the thing. I respect his opinion. I respect as a businessman that's very good at what he does. That grift, because all businessmen do. But at the same time, like this type of rhetoric is actually very dangerous because people will believe it. And I understand his point when you're talking about the oil, but when we're talking about like food, it's a little bit different. I mean, and Bitcoin is still very new, and I understand that. Bitcoin has performed really well in the last like 10 years, whatever, but it's still a very new asset. And we don't know he's talking about fracking and doing all these things with oil and gold oil. What about when you start creating Bitcoin derivatives, which we already have? The ETF is not really Bitcoin. Hey, Eric. But I'm being dead serious. Like, this is the thing. I respect the hustle. I respect the grift. But at the end of the day, you can diversify. Diversification is okay. But realistically, the reason why I wanted to show you that clip is to show you how insane these people are when they're shilling their bags to you. And that's okay because it's Bitcoin, because it's a commodity. You can say that about Bitcoin. But realistically, do what works for you and your families. Like, don't just blindly listen to these people, number one. And number two, like, these people have a financial interest in this crap, a very, very big financial interest in this crap. I mean, look at this. Okay, this is here. We're going to go on my page. Michael Saylor, he posted this earlier today. Master acquired 22,000 Bitcoin at 1.92 billion, approximately 87,000 per Bitcoin. Achieved a yield of 11% year to date. Strategy holds over 500,000 Bitcoin, acquired for 35.63 at $67,000. So this is the thing. He is shilling his own bags. And even though it's a commodity, we can do this, it's okay. You're still shilling an investment. At the end of the day, Bitcoin is an investment for most people. And you're still pushing that. And the difference between Michael Saylor and you is that he's not using his money to buy Bitcoin. He's using his company's money to buy Bitcoin. They're creating debt. They are taking out loans. They are creating traditional financial products to raise money and buy more Bitcoin. And they're just collateralizing that to Hades. It's crazy. But he's not wrong about Bitcoin being a very successful asset. It's being finite, etc. But it's a little excessive. And that kind of backs up... it's kind of a little bit excessive when it comes to just the way it's being shilled. That's all. But I don't care. If you guys you guys rock with it, you rock with it. I'm just telling you to be careful. And I like it because it's going to pump my bag. So I think it's great. Now let's listen to that. And then my buddy Mark Moss wanted to comment. He commented on it. Mark's awesome. Good friend of mine. So he says, why is Bitcoin dipping when Saylor announces strategy? And this is his take here. And again, Mark, he's got a great YouTube channel. He's really, really intelligent. But he says, why is Bitcoin dipping when Saylor announces another strategy $2 billion purchase? Here's why. It's priced in. These purchases were announced a long time ago, and the market knows they're coming. Saylor is buying while other big players are likely dumping Bitcoin after a 100% gain in 24. And that he's talking about IBIT and the Bitcoin spot ETFs. That's what he's talking about. It's something we've been telling you guys on the channel for a long time. And then he says 2 billion sounds big, but it's a tiny in relation to the $1.72 trillion market cap. Macro picture is in the driver's seat. U.S. and global liquidity has been in decline, and that's now just pivoting. Liquidity is in the rise, so get ready. Zoom out a bit. This stuff is all pivoting, and Bitcoin will rise to the next price level, but it can sit here longer than you might want or expect. When it moves fast. And he's 100% right. He's 100% right. Again, he basically said that the purchases are priced in. People are taking profits. So Saylor is buying, TradFi is selling, and they're maybe putting it into futures or kind of waiting to reevaluate their portfolios. Again, TradFi, they take profit. They have to, they have quarterly market reports. They have to pay taxes. They have people to pay. So they invest differently than we do. And then he also talks about the macro picture and then zooming out and how fast the volatile Bitcoin is. And he's 100% right. So I really appreciated Mark's take here. It made a lot of sense to me. And I liked it. It was a good take. It was a good take. Now, let's go ahead and talk about people buying more Bitcoin. Or investing. Mara Holdings plans huge $2 billion stock offering to buy more Bitcoin. So again, traditional financial companies are creating traditional financial products out of thin air to raise money to buy a finite asset. I know a lot of you are very like, oh my God, Bitcoin, blah, 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 blah. I don't know what to tell you. Numbers going to end up going up. To me, this is a super cycle. And I get people that troll me all the time. Wendy, you're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. But we are literally seeing an asset that is not finite cash being printed out of thin air or created out of thin air or earned out of thin air to buy a finite asset. Eventually, this crap is going to absolutely explode. What does that mean for altcoins? Well, if number goes up with Bitcoin and people have more money, they might start getting into altcoins. I have no idea, but that's the kind of a pattern that we've seen before. So at the end of the day, people that are bearish right now, I don't know what to tell you. I am bullish as all hell. Bullish as all hell. Also, too, I wanted to go ahead and read with this over here. So Mara Holdings plans to sell $2 billion in stock to buy more Bitcoin. Mara entered an agreement with Cantor Fitzgerald and Barclays to sell shares from time to time. And again, when they're talking about shares, this is exactly what TradFi does. They buy, they sell, they do different things at different times, large amounts. But that's not very informative to sell shares from time to time. They are the second largest corporate Bitcoin holder with 46,374 Bitcoin, approximately 3.9 billion. And the CEO, Fred Thiel, committed to a full HODL strategy. They will keep all mine Bitcoin and buy more. So how are they going to buy more? They're going to take out debt. They're going to create stocks and sell it and buy more Bitcoin. Wendy is a hot mess. She is not stupid. Get it right. See, we got it. Somebody says, explain why you say this time is a super cycle. Well, I've talked about it before, but let me explain it. I personally think it's a super cycle. The reason why is in the past, we've never had we've never had a pro-crypto president. We've never had pro-crypto administration. We've never actually, we're seeing companies like BlackRock with the Bitcoin spot ETFs. We're seeing Michael Saylor talking about using a non-finite asset to buy a finite asset. We're seeing crypto ETFs, spot ETFs getting into play. The war on crypto is essentially over. So me personally, I just don't know how people are bearish right now. I think we already hit 110,000 or 109,000. And I think we're going to break out and hit 150,000 eventually, or back to 110,000. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, I don't see how people are bearish, but is what it is. Let's go and talk about the market. Actually, there's a couple more Bitcoin things happening, but I want to do the market. Let's go move this over here. Okay, so this is what the market looks like on the weekly. Hot garbage. Crow is still up pretty much because of the announcement with Trump's Truth Social and whatnot. The daily things are up. Things are looking nice. Wall is up 15.5%. Ton is up. Curve, hype, EOS, I have no idea why, but good for them. Floki, shout out to Floki. And then let's go ahead and do some charts. I'm going to do some charts over here. Also, too, right now, Femix is having they have a promotion. If you sign up and create an account, they're going to give you $25, and they have a lot of other promotions as well. So again, not your keys, not your coins. No need to use leverage, and make sure you read the terms of service. But if you're interested in using my ref link, it is in the description below. You get free crypto. So I don't see why that would be a terrible thing to do. I don't see why it would be a terrible thing to do, but they're giving away quite a bit of a bonus. And yeah, take a look. Now, let's get back into it. Let's take a look at the charts. So, all right. So this is going to be the daily. Where did we close yesterday? Yeah, we closed right over here at 82,000. Bitcoin it looks like we're going down a little bit more, but we're holding really tightly at about 82,000, which is nice. We had a nice move up to 83.6, etc. Taking a look at the daily, daily's just kind of going sideways. So hopefully we continue to consolidate between about 80,000 and 89,000, and we get a breakout. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart, 4-hour chart is looking a little bit bearish, and that we might continue to head down, but we'll kind of see. Now, as far as Ethereum goes, over here, Ethereum topped off here, and we're trading below 1865. Let me go to this Ethereum chart over here. Auntie, I'm over here. I miss my nephew. He's so freaking cute. All right, so this is the Ethereum chart on the daily. Actually, I want to go back to this one. Here we go. All right, so Ethereum broke down below the important area of $1,800, even though we're like 1867. So we're trading at this low area. Literally, the last area of support is 1700 before we kind of move down to 1500. So I love Ethereum. I hold Ethereum. I want it to $10,000, but the chart looks like garbage. It does. As far as XRP goes, XRP is looking a little bit bearish. We're retapping on $2, kind of like we talked about yesterday. And it looks like we may get a breakdown and trade between 176 and about $2. Bullish case scenario would be hold the line at $2. Where else? I want to take a look at Link. Yeah, that's fine. Anyways, that's what's going on in the market. And also, too, friendly reminder, you guys, I don't do live trading on the channel anymore. I don't really do calls or price predictions. I give you guys a bullish or bearish scenario, and I'm so glad I don't do that anymore, because the kind of moronic comments I used to get, Wendy's always wrong, Wendy's always wrong. It's just stupid. Like, not only are you guys making yourself sound stupid and uneducated and just like, what a waste of your life, but it just became really irritating and cringe and annoying to me, because it's mostly like dudes that are saying that stuff. So I just give a bullish and a bearish target. And that's that. And if you don't like it, go watch another trader. I don't really care. It's just not worth my time anymore. I feel so much better not doing, giving calls and stuff like that. Plus, one of the things I noticed too, it doesn't matter how right I was about being bearish or being bullish. If you are wrong, they're more mad at you if you're bearish and you get it right than when you're bullish and you get it wrong. So I'm just always bullish all the time, primarily because it's less hate and it's less BS on the internet. So a lot of you guys do that to yourself, but you know. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Oh yeah, tariffs tomorrow. Tomorrow's tariff day, so that's going to cause some market volatility. But again, and this is the thing, is to me it's so crazy that market reacts to tariffs, because it's another Ponzi. The stock market is a Ponzi. The market is a damn Ponzi. So the fact that people are really like so pressed about this and are like, oh my God, it's just crazy to me. Like, I don't know. I grew up in I didn't grow up in traditional finance, and we're just trying to put food on the table, really. But it is what it is. I hear pitter patter. Hold on one second. Are you giggling? No, you may not. When I say no the first time, that's what we need to listen. We need to be respectful. Okay, I love you. Thank you. I love you too. I'm proud of you for hearing what I said and listening and not talking back. I appreciate that. Bye. She has to play Roblox. I said no. Too early. Plus, I'm waiting for her teacher to send the rest of her homework so we could get that done. All right, let's get back into it. So, Trump's son inked deal with Hut 8 to launch Bitcoin mining firm, and some people are bearish. And also to you guys, these types of things, they take a long time to come to fruition. Like in traditional finance, if you guys do pay attention to kind of what's just traditional finance in general, like a lot of times the market takes a while to react to news like this. To me, this is a massive deal. Like the president of the United States' sons are investing in, and they have a deal. Shout out to JP. You have a beautiful day. They have a deal with Hut 8 to launch Bitcoin mining firm. If you're not bullish on Bitcoin and crypto in general, I don't know what to tell you. This is another reason why I think we're in a super cycle. They aim to become the largest miner, but basically they're going to launch American Bitcoin, which is a new mining firm. I love to see it. Good for them. Next, President Trump to meet pro-Bitcoin President Nayib Bukele in the White House in April. I wonder why. Well, probably because of the whole thing and Bitcoin as well. That's what I would think. But interesting. We'll see what comes of it. This is a really bullish story. So it's from the Satoshi Act Fund. We are proud to officially announce that Bitcoin rights have been introduced in the California Assembly by Chair of Banking and Finance, Assemblyman Valencia. Once passed, nearly 40 million Americans will have the right to self-custody protected. The bill also creates legal framework for how to manage unclaimed property for digital assets, which we fully endorse. I like that. Thank you to Chair of Banking and Finance, Valencia, for including this language in AB 1052 for your leadership. And special thanks to Calderon for helping to make this a reality. Ian Calderon, he's been on the show a couple times in the past. I don't buy views or anything like that. So I would, that's disgusting. I'm never going to buy views. Never. Sorry, my leg's itching. Anyways, with that being said, shout out to him. There's a lot of things I disagree with him with, but I do appreciate that they're trying to push positive legislation forward in crypto and Bitcoin in California. California used to be like the tech capital of like the America, but we're not, because we have all this woke junk happening here, which is unfortunate and sad, because we really should just focus on people working hard to achieve really cool stuff. But I digress. But hey, it's progress. It's moving forward. I'm with it, because at the end of the day, Bitcoin and crypto remove all the social issues. They remove most of it. The more access people get to more money, the better products and services they get. And a lot of the social BS goes away because they got nothing to complain about. Now, Bloomberg Article states Ethereum developers have been fleeing. Early followers and are angry, and the token on the network, Ether, has lagged both Bitcoin and smaller competitors. And that's because a lot of people are just kind of like fed up with the leadership and whatnot. And this is why in crypto, if you're going to have a foundation and whatnot, it's so important to have a good foundation of very, very talented people, not just tech savvy. You need people with good communication, people that know how to market, people that know how to communicate, people that know how to build. And that's why you have the good communicators to push that information forward and to actually pay attention to the users. One of the biggest issues why companies in crypto fail is because they create stuff for them and not for the masses. And that we're seeing that happen with Ethereum, and that's why Solana is doing better. Now, with that being said, there's some stats here from the article. Ethereum underperforms Bitcoin and competitors like Solana. Duh. Ethereum had a 44% drop in 2024. Devs are leaving with a 17% decline in 2024. And Trump's crypto-friendly stance has reshaped the industry, leaving ETH politically isolated, which it's not really leaving ETH isolated. Ethereum did that to itself. We had no representation from anyone from the Ethereum Foundation with the president. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous. But at the same time, this is another problem we have. We've seen Chainlink people over there, all these different XRP over there. We've seen all these different companies over there. Where's the Ethereum Foundation? Nowhere to be found. The Ethereum Foundation has been criticized for slow updates and neglecting price. They're not responsible for pumping price, but they are responsible for slow updates and not actively competing. More transactions and developer interest on Solana, which it makes complete sense to me. Vitalik rejects meme coin hype. That's not a problem. To me, that's not a problem at all because meme coins do cause a lot of issues. They could, especially for a leader. A new leadership at ETH Foundation aims to address criticisms and find a new path forward. We will see. We will see. But again, if you don't have somebody who's good at communicating, not going to do well. Now, this next story over here, Ethereum is about to close Q1 with its worst return since 2018. Will it recover in Q2? I hope so, but I'm not very confident at this point. Again, I want Ethereum to hit $10,000 desperately. And I think the only thing that's really going to help it at this point is if the Ethereum Foundation actually addresses the network as a layer 1 and doesn't necessarily, it stops focusing on layer 2s for the time being until we get an Ethereum spot ETF with staking. That will help as well. But again, we've seen some adoption with large institutions. It's just going to take a little bit of time. Just going to take a little bit of time. Now, Vitalik dropped the roadmap. He proposes Ethereum layer 2 roadmap and advocates open source funding. Oh, more layer 2s. Key points: new 2 of 3 proof model, which uses optimistic ZK and T proofs for enhanced security and finality. Stage 2 rollups for faster transactions, high finality, improve resistance. Vitalik warns against shared ZK rollup code. He advocates for a shift to focus to open source funding. This moves Ethereum away from public goods funding to avoid social bias. This is the thing, you guys. You've got your damn founder meowing at a dog or whatever the hell this is over here. So there's that. There's that being said. Also smash a like and things like that. But let's go ahead and talk about Ethereum. They need to focus on the layer 1. They need to, as far like they can sell Ethereum, but at the same time, who's going to open source fund the project when things aren't being done? Like, why don't you get the foundation working properly and then make changes like that? But you need to focus on it as a layer 1. But what do I know? I'm an idiot on the internet. Next. Justin, Elon Musk confirms that the government has no plans to use Dogecoin. I could have seen that coming from a mile away. Let's go ahead and listen to this. And that makes sense. Why would we use Dogecoin? Maybe you can have an ETF. Should it be added to a strategic reserve? I don't know, but you can do an ETF. It doesn't make sense. They're going to use stablecoins. And that's what I've told you guys for a long time. They're going to use stablecoins. We're going to talk about in a second.
The names are similar, but they're doing 2 very different things. In fact, I was going to call it like the Government Efficiency Commission, but that's a super boring name. And then the internet said, no, it needs to be called the Department of Government Efficiency. I was like, well, the internet is right. So we changed the name from Government Efficiency Commission to Department of Government Efficiency. But there are no plans for the government to use Dogecoin or anything.
So basically he's a big troll. Using Doge, he's basically shilling it all the time as a name, and it doesn't make any sense to have Dogecoin to have the US as a currency for anything at all. It doesn't. It's just queen, king, or king, queen, whatever the hell meme coin. People like it. I have a bag of that too. Could it be used for the digital asset stockpile? I think the digital asset stockpile will consist of ETFs made in America. We will see though. Now, Pump Fund or Pump Swap DEX nears 2.5 billion in cumulative volume 10 days after launch. They were using Raiden prior to that, and now they're using their own DEX. So again, they are doing incredibly well. But again, there's only about 0.04% of traders that are actually profitable. With meme coins on pump.fun that make over $10,000 or more. Now, I don't want to talk about this. Trump he pardoned co-founders of BitMEX, Arthur Hayes, Benjamin DeLeo, and Samuel Reed regarding money laundering. And then this over here. This is important. It's from Bo Hines. He is the executive director, President's Council of Advisors for Digital Assets. FDIC dropped its 2022 rule requiring banks to get pre-approval before engaging with crypto-related activities. Let's talk about this. I want to read my little titty bitties here. So, FDIC has rescinded 2022 notification requirement for crypto-related activities. Banks no longer need prior FDIC approval to engage in permissible crypto activities. Institutions must manage risks, market liquidity, cybersecurity, AML compliance. Banks should engage with supervisory teams as needed. FDIC plans to issue a mere guidance and replace prior interagency regulation. So we're going to see more banks utilizing crypto. So I don't have enough information about this to give a take, but I think that this is good moving forward. However, stablecoins are pretty important right now, and they will lead the way. USDC. Circle hires JP Morgan Citi with plan to file IPO in late April. Fortune. So we talked about this last week. Basically, this was a rumor, or this was kind of still being debated if they were going to actually use JP Morgan and have an IPO, but it looks like they are. This is freaking crazy because JP Morgan hates crypto. Public filing is expected in late April. IPO could happen before June. Target valuation $4 to $5 billion and previously valued at $5 billion in private markets. Another important date to remember is the House of Representatives are going to hold a hearing on the cryptocurrency market structure legislation on April 9th. This is from Laura Shin. What is she talking about? Oh, will Coinbase's goals for joint market structure and stablecoin bills delay the passage of stablecoin legislation? Many industry leaders are insiders. Stablecoins are ridiculous. They're absolutely ridiculous. Like, stablecoin is, you're not an idiot, Ja, you're not. Some people are dodos, though. But stablecoins are ridiculous. Like, who cares? Who cares about stablecoin regulation, honestly? Only reason why I think stablecoins are going to be good, like if each bank is going to have their own stablecoin and whatnot, first off, it scares me because of privacy. And second off, I don't really care just as long as I get the same yield that these D-bags are getting in traditional finance. If not, then I don't really care about a stablecoin, but we'll see. Elon Musk calls to end the Federal Reserve. We'll go ahead and listen to this because it's a good one. It's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Oh, yeah, baby.
Question is, what is your opinion on the Federal Reserve, and do you have any intentions of doing anything with them?
And the Fed. Yeah. I don't know. I always wanted to say that, you know.
I always wanted to say, but no, we should end the Federal Reserve. But it's nice to see people that are positive, like bullish on crypto, that are in office right now. Again, a lot of people are like, it would have been better under Harris. It would have been better under Harris. Blah, 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 blah. No, it would have been banned in the United States of America. You would have gotten a really nice pump, but at the end of the day, retail would not be getting attention. We wouldn't be getting any laws or legislation. We would just be getting bans. Gary Gensler would not have stopped his attacks against everything. Crypto wouldn't be really doing anything in America. So I'm thankful for what's going on now, but at the same time, our fight isn't over when it comes to retail. And all the stablecoin regulation, you better stay on it, because I don't think it's necessarily a good thing. But at the same time, we will see what happens. I want Ethereum to be $10,000. I want Solana at $1,000, and I want Bitcoin to go to the absolute moon. All right, you guys, I'm going to get going because I got to do a bunch of stuff. But I do want to let you know that I'm going to drop a video at 2 p.m. PST about Cardano. So make sure you guys stick around for that. They've got some really, really exciting things. Shout out to BMO. Shout out to all my channel members. Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in today. To Buckeye DK as a channel member, Eric Burt, channel member, Mr. R, John Legend, Gamer, Eric, Gorgeous Alexandra, Neil. Who else? Thank you guys so much for supporting me and Low. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Let me see who's on Tiki Tacky. Where my Tiki Tackies at? Let's see what you guys are doing. We only have 4,500 likes, guys. Come on. But anyways, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and do chicken bone broth in your tea. Hell yeah. I am going to do do some videos for you guys, but I got to get going. Sending y'all love and light. I am